It's the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the program. Week number 4 in the National Football League. Look, this by no shape, way, or form is what I want this program to look like. All right. I'm looking to make my show a lot more efficient, man. And the best way to do that, using a live feed. Now, of course, I have no clue what I'm doing. None whatsoever. That's why it looks the way it looks. But in time, I will clean this up. It will be a much better, much higher quality. There's pixelation and nonsense going on in the background, a lot of noise. So ignore all of that. All you need is this product that I'm trying to put out to you. And so hopefully over time I'll be able to clean this mess up. But for right now, I'm just trying to get everything out to you in pertinent time and not have these reviews coming out on a Wednesday when you're starting to look forward to the next week of football. You get me? You got me? Good. So we start with the Chicago Bears. The Bears taking on their divisional foes, family business, NFC North style Green Bay Packers. So this is a huge matchup. Nobody hates the Packers more than the Bears. Nobody hates the Bears more than the Packers. You knew this one was going to be heated. And these two teams needed this W, especially the Packers after the way they looked on the road last week against Detroit. They needed this one in the worst way. So this is a huge game for the Packers. For the Bears, you're coming off of 2 consecutive road victories against 2 tough defenses in the San Francisco 49ers and the Jets, and you're able to get both of those on the road. Still haven't been able to claim a home victory, though. Lost to the Bills in week 1. First time being at home since that loss. You're looking to get a W and go to 3-1 and stay atop this division. So if you are the Chicago Bears, this is a big one. This is a big one, man. So here we go. Bears go on a gorgeous 15-play, 80-yard drive, capped off by a 5-yard B-Marsh touchdown grab. It's 7-0 Chicago. The officials were horrendous in this game, and we will talk about each and every single bad call, at least the ones that I saw that I thought were egregious as we move through this breakdown. And the first one that jumps off the page at you is that J-Pep third down hands to the face penalty, which was non-existent. If anything, the penalty should have been on Jordan Mills, the offensive tackle on the play, instead of J-Pep. Either way, it affords the Bears an opportunity to pick up a first down that they didn't gain on their own. They end up getting in the end zone. Bad call number 1 by the officials. It's 7-0 Chicago up in this game. They respond immediately to the Packers in this game. 6-play drive, and it was quick. It was painless. It was effortless on the part of Aaron Rodgers. It was bing, bang, boom, Eddie Lacy a couple times, and they were in the end zone. That included a 43-yard strike from Rodgers to Richard Rodgers. And then you get down to the 1-yard line, and you let the big fella do the rest of the lifting. Eddie Lacy gets in. We're knotted up at 7, just like that. So the Bears are gashing the Pack on the ground in this game as they keep giving the football to both of their backs. And that was the thing that was so disheartening. And even though the Pack ended up coming away with the victory, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, there's still some things that they need to clean up. They are, by no stretch of the imagination, the team that they want to be. But, hey, you'll take a W and you'll keep trying to improve on your football team. But they were gashed in this game on the ground. And Forte was giving it to them. So was Carey, their rookie running back out of Arizona. They were getting worked over by this Bears rushing attack. And so the Bears moved the football down the field. Even Jay Cutler said, let me get in on a little bit of this action. As on 4th and 1, he fumbles the football, fumbles the snap, picks it up and runs for about 18 to 25 yards. And so even Jay Cutler got in on the action on the ground against this Packers anemic rush defense. And so they move the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line of the Packers as we end the first quarter, move on to the second quarter. And so you start the second quarter, and Cutler misses a wide open Alshon Jeffrey. Never, ever trust a man with two first names in the back of the end zone wide open. And these are the type of mistakes you got to avoid if you are trying to beat a team like the Green Bay Packers. You have to score touchdowns. You can't settle for field goals, especially when you had the ball at the 1 yard line. There is no excuse not to get it in. Bears got to settle for a chip shot field goal. It's now 10-7. Bears on top. Aided by poor officiating. There was a penalty on Ryan Mundy for a personal foul, defenseless receiver hit. I thought it was an egregious call, just terrible. Then to make matters worse, you pile on top of that with a DJ Williams personal foul penalty call. And now that one, I could see how they could make the call, but they called it wrong. It's called piling on. There was no piling on there. If you wanted to say spearing with the crown of your helmet on a player that's already on the ground, okay, fine. I get that. But to say he was piling on, that's the wrong call. That was the wrong terminology to use. Again, these officials were tripping in this game. Those are two big, huge, nasty, stinking personal foul penalties that helped the Packers get down the field. And they take the lead on a Jordy Nelson touchdown grab, his first of the day. He was not done, however, as Air Jordy would be back in the end zone once again. But it's 14-10 now, Pat on top of this Bears football team. So the Bears right now are trailing in this game, and the difference is Packers able to get in the end zone, Bears having to settle for a field goal. You know the mantra, you know the motto, field goals don't win games, touchdowns do. So, hey, if you're the Chicago Bears, you know what you got to do. You got to get in the end zone, man, and that's what this Bears team did on the next possession. Bears, excellent response to the Pats touchdown as they march down the field and get in the end zone on a magnificent play design. They send Alshon Jeffrey, never, ever trust a man with two first names. They send him in motion, and as he's going across the formation, he stops right in the middle of the formation, turns around, speeds out, and there's no way. It's man-to-man coverage, and this play only works if it's man-to-man coverage. And the Bears knew they had man-to-man coverage by the way that the cornerback was shading him and following him across the formation. So they knew they got the look they were looking for. It's man coverage. He runs back across because Sam Shields, who was the defender on the play, had to go around all of the traffic to follow him across the formation and didn't even realize that Alshon Jeffrey had turned back around and sped back out to the opposite side of the field. He runs, Cutler gives it to him out in the flats. He walks into the end zone. What a beautiful play design as the Bears reassume the lead in this game, 17-14. Problem with the Bears on this day is defensively they could not get a stop. Now, the officials did not do them any favors, but the officials did no one any favors in this game. Can't blame the officials. You got to, at some point, reach down and get a defensive stop, and they just couldn't in this game. Bears try an onside kick, and that's what you do when you're desperate. You try an onside kick because you know your defense can't get off the field. And that's what the Bears do. They say, hey, we've got to find a way to try to get this football back because our defense sure isn't going to get it back for us. Let's try to sneak attack these guys. And it worked, but they didn't recover the football. They had opportunities to recover this onside kick, and they just didn't. And so Packers get the football. And, of course, you try an onside kick, you don't recover. Great field position for the Green Bay Packers to start out this drive. And they make them pay as they move the football down the field in a 22-yard Randall Cobb touchdown pass from AR-12 puts the Packers back on top in this game, 21-17. And so Bears failed to get it. And this, to me, was the turning point of the game right here. This is where everything went downhill for the Bears. At this point, it's 17-21, Bears trailing by 4. They get the football, they move it down the field. As time expires, they have no more timeouts. Cutler, and this is a no-no, you know you got to get the football into the end zone. He was hoping Martellus Bennett, who had gotten them down the field in this possession. He was the catalyst for this drive. 2 huge catches before this one, getting them down the field. He was looking, and the Bears, the clock management on this last possession, a little sketchy by the Bears, but I didn't think it was going to come back to bite him. If Cutler doesn't throw this pass short of the end zone, it's not going to affect them. They're going to get points, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, whatever the case may be. But because of Cutler throwing short of the end zone, and Martin. And what a great tackle by the defender on the play to keep him out of the end zone, hold him up, wait till the cavalry arrives, and they kept him out of the end zone. And look, I really honestly think he got the football over the goal line, but it was funny. Micah Hyde, a Packers defender on the play, got right in the way of that camera angle that would have shown him stretching the football over the goal line. And I know for a fact he stretched that football. Everybody could see he stretched it over, but there was no definitive view of him stretching that football. But you had to know, if you could remove Micah Hyde out of that camera shot, you would see the football going over the goal line. And that's all they had to do was cross the plane of the goal line, but you couldn't see it clearly because of defenders in the way. And so Bears get nothing as time expires in the first half. That one was a backbreaker. That took all the momentum away from the Chicago Bears. And to add insult to injury, Packers got the football after the half first. So you knew they really needed that field goal. They really needed that touchdown to be able to keep pace with this Packers team, because up until this point, no one had punted in the game. The Packers had not punted the football. They've scored on every single possession they've had the football in this game. So you knew if they got the ball after the half, if the Bears didn't make some adjustments, they were going to come right out and do the same thing they had done all game long, which is move the football down the field and get into the end zone. So that's the halftime score, 21-17 Pack up. AR-12 with the Houdini touchdown to Davante Adams, where he was, I don't know how he didn't get sacked on the play. And he's literally in the grasp of a Bears defender, and he launches it about 45 yards to Davante Adams on a rope in the end zone. I mean, just a phenomenal play. But it's all for naught as it's negated by a hands-to-the-face penalty by Corey Linsley, your rookie center. So that takes the points off the board. They end up having to settle for a 53-yard Mason Crosby field goal. It's 24-17 Green Bay. So if you're Chicago, there's your opportunity. There's your window of opportunity right there. You're able to keep the Packers out of the end zone. You have a chance to tie this game up now. And what do the Bears do? This is what happens with this Bears football team. This is why you can. And I said this is crazy. I said this in the preview. I said, every time I want to believe in this Bears team, and I picked the Bears to win this game. I said, because this was no indictment on how I really felt about the Bears. This was more about how I didn't feel about the Packers. They scared me. And yeah, I know Aaron Rodgers said relax to all the Packers fans, but honestly, you still have a lot of things you got to clean up. But you were able to take advantage of a Bears team that just can't get out of their way, especially when they play the Green Bay Packers at home. And it's funny because I said in my preview for this game, I said these exact words. Cutler most likely is going to throw 2 picks, and you're going to have a skill guy put it on the floor, and it's all going to end up being a Packers victory. And I said it was going to be a lot closer. I said 27-17 was my score. Ended up being 38-17, but you get the gist of what I was saying. I said, I always buy Bears stock. And as I buy 40 shares of Bears stock, it plummets. They start playing bad football, and I lose all of my money. And I had a feeling that was coming in this game, and that's exactly what happened as the Green Bay Packers took advantage of Bear mistakes in this second half. Cutler picked off by Clay Matthews. It's a bad throw. It's a bad read on the part of Cutler. He tries to force it in to a slant. And Tramon Williams makes a beautiful play, deflects the football. Clay Matthews is able to catch it off the carom, returns it into Bears territory. And really, you knew after that turnover, Aaron Rodgers and company were going to put points on the board. The question now becomes, is it a field goal or is it a touchdown? Can this Bears defense stand up one more time and force a field goal, or are they going to allow the Packers to extend this lead out to 2 touchdowns by getting in the end zone? And that's exactly what happened, as that sets up a 11-yard Air Jordy touchdown. It's 31-17 at this point. Now it's desperation time because, and look, it's plenty of time. We're still midway through the third quarter. I mean, really, it's not time to press the panic button, but you haven't stopped the Packers all day long. So either you're going to have to rev it up and get some stops, or this game is going to get out of hand, and that's what happened. Cutler throws a pick 3 plays after Alshon Jeffrey. No. ever trust a man with two first names. He fumbles the football. Packers can't corral it in bounds. It goes out of bounds. They catch a break, do the Bears. But Cutler didn't allow that break to be long-lived, as 3 plays later, he throws another interception. And so Sam Shields picks it off, takes it into Bears territory. We're talking 11-yard line. Couple of plays later, and if there's a phantom holding penalty, as the Bears defense actually stands up, holds this Packers offense from getting into the end zone. Doesn't matter though, because they call holding on Bostic, your second-year linebacker, and there was no holding on this play. There was no holding on this play. It extends the drive, of course, and Aaron Rodgers finds Randall Cobb in the end zone. It's 38-17. This game is effectively, for all intents and purposes, over, as the Chicago Bears wilt in the second half after having a phenomenal first half. Wilt under the pressure of the Green Bay Packers, lose this game 38-17. Yes, the officiating was horrible in this game, but the Bears did themselves no favors with the turnovers, with the mistakes. And so you lose to a team that finally got their offense on track. I know Aaron Rodgers told everyone to relax, but this defense has some glaring issues. The Bears ran the football very effectively. The Bears threw the football very effectively in the first half. There are some defensive problems with this Packers football team, but offensively, which is what we all expected them to be, they were very, very good in this game. And I thought that was going to be the crutch that they were going to be able to lean on until this defense found a way to pick it up. But so far in this season, early on, the offense hasn't been what we've expected them to be. This game, they look like the Packers of old, and that's what they're going to need to look like moving forward until this defense can find a way to get it together. Right now, this defense is struggling, but they got it done in this game, 38-17. Bears, again, struggling to stop with the turnovers and the mistakes. When the Bears lose, a lot of times it's self-inflicted wounds. That's what you saw here. Bears aren't able to get it done as they drop this one to the Green Bay Packers, 38-17. They're now 2-2 on the season. So are the Green Bay Packers, which leaves the Detroit Lions atop this division all by their lonesome after they get a win in New York. We'll talk about that game down the road. But big win for the Green Bay Packers on the road after losing in the division on the road a week ago to Detroit. Had to have this one, and they went and got it. So now they're 2-2 on the season. Again, Bears drop to 2-2 on the season. Bears still looking and searching for their first home victory of the season. That's going to do it for me here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 4 in the National Football League. See you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.